During the pandemic, Dr. Redel was it. He essentially led really what we were all doing, what the physicians were doing, what the nurses on the floor were doing in the management of COVID. He was constantly reading and looking to see what we should and shouldn't do, but he wrote the algorithms, he wrote the protocols, like he really drove how we managed COVID here at St. Peter's and did a phenomenal job.
I've known Dr. Henry Redel for about 11 years. I actually met him when he was interviewing for a job in New Jersey. He was interviewing both with ID Care and with Dr. Rick Snepar, Ira Gerland, and Marcia Kalish for a position there. We were competing for Henry's position. He was a hot commodity. In the end, Dr. Snepar's group won out at that point in time, but fast forward 10 years and now we're all one big happy family.
Dr. Redel was very helpful during the pandemic when there were so many questions that we were asking. We knew that we could go to him and he would give us an honest, straightforward answer. If he didn't have the answer that day, he would come back and find the answer and let us know.
Dr. Redel was truly a leader throughout the pandemic and continues to do so. He was what I would say the calm in the storm, especially at the beginning, March, April, May of 2020, when things were at the absolute worst, when everybody was still scared and fearful and we didn't have a lot of information. He always brought this just calming presence and energy to the hospital. He was just an invaluable resource to all of us. And he has this unique ability to absorb information. He would do so much reading when he was not working at the hospital and just research, and he would come with all this great information. So he was a wealth of knowledge for our organization.
As we all know, the pandemic started in March of 2020. At that point in time, Dr. Redel had recently become the chief of infectious disease at St. Peter's Hospital. It was a very stressful time. It was a dynamic situation because things were being, information was coming in that we had never had before. You had to change things on the fly. And we were all very nervous about getting sick and transmitting illness to others. Well, Dr. Redel did not, he stayed at work and did not go home from March until about June.
He was a tremendous resource. I don't honestly know how he kept up because he was being pulled in every different direction, because you have to understand, not only is he our hospital epidemiologist, so he's our resource for the organization, he was a resource for the entire St. Peter's healthcare system, as well as the community. We had many, many community members, church organizations, reaching out to us as a healthcare provider, as the main healthcare provider in the community, for information, suggestions, guidelines, and he would always be able to provide that. One of the things that we did early on in the pandemic is we set up a section on our intranet, our St. Peter's intranet, for COVID, all related to COVID. And so we would put any policies, procedures, guidelines, testing algorithms, any sort of resources that the staff needed would go on that website. And a lot of it came from him. He helped to develop it, or I would gather the information and sort of piece it together and have him proof it and okay it. So he, sometimes during the pandemic, he had a line of people waiting to talk to him.
Dr. Henry Redel is so deserving of this Physician Appreciation Award for all that he's done for our community over these last 2 years. Being thrown into the fire, if you will, less than 1 month after assuming the job, and performing at such a level is an extraordinary accomplishment for which this honor is well deserved. And I'm proud to call him a colleague, a friend, and someone that I can look to for guidance or questions when I have challenging issues, as a resource that I can reach out to. So congratulations, Henry. Well deserved.
Congratulations, Henry.